don't know what you were going for there.
All right, everybody, welcome to the Ref Room. I am Scott Smokin Silz, joined by our local referee-in-chief from the Chicagoland area, Mr. Brad Baumruck. Good to see you, my buddy. How you doing?
Yeah, good to see you. Yeah, living the dream, man. It's beautiful outside. What are we doing in here? And
Yeah,
anybody
I know.
else
How
watching
about
this,
it?
turn
Yeah,
it
we
off
should-
now and go
we
outside.
should be like the Maple Leafs. We should be at the golf course.
Wow.
Oh, man, I can't believe my Leafs are out already. They made a pretty good comeback, but not good enough.
Yeah, well, at least Boston saved face, right?
Yeah. Well, now we got to see who gets fired after all this. Somebody's got to go, I guess. So.
Well, the Maple Leafs coach quit.
Oh, did he quit? I didn't even hear that. So, yeah, that makes sense. Perfect sense.
Yeah, he quit. So have you not seen the video?
No, because he knew he was getting fired, I guess. So
He goes on there and he goes, well, my team fucked me. He goes, Mariner complains on the bench. And he goes, he just went on about his players, and he's like, fuck you, Shanahan. I'm going to Pittsburgh to coach for whatever that guy's name is, Daddy Dubas or whatever. His name's not Daddy, but he called him. He's like, fuck you, Shanahan. I'm going to coach over in Pittsburgh for Daddy Dubas.
Well, there's a lot of talk. If Shanahan will be coming back, because they're like, this has been going on for 10 years. He's had this team, and he's put these guys together, and they have not produced. So they're planning on breaking that core up. I know Mariner wants another 8-year extension on his contract. The Leafs are like, should we do this? Not sure they want to do 8 years. And they're not sure Shanahan's delivering for them either. So he may be out. They may make a total shakeup because they're not going to keep that core together. And, it was a joke last year that, we're getting Bedard in Chicago. But, there was talk, we could get, what's his face?
Austin Matthews?
Austin Matthews. And
that's where I thought you were going with it.
Yeah, and it's like we could get Austin Matthews in Chicago. Well, now, anything is possible, I suppose. I can't imagine that they would trade him, but he hasn't produced in the playoffs for them like they expect. So maybe, what's he getting, like $13.5 million a year or something like that? 12.5, some crazy number. It's possible that, he could be coming to Chicago at some point. We could start that rumor right here, right now.
We're just going to start pulling stuff out of thin air.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I'm just disappointed. No, I wish I had seen that clip because I was actually watching something with the general manager on YouTube a few minutes ago before we came on. And I didn't hear that part because he was just talking about the exit meetings and stuff. And normally he, sometimes he attends, sometimes he doesn't. So I think they were just going to have conversations with people and he was ignoring the whole situation. So we'll see what the deal is. But
you're right. Austin Matthews, $13.25 million.
13.25. Yeah.
Yeah. For 4 years, $53 million total.
Yep.
Boy, I only need one of those. Honestly, $1 million.
I just need one of his checks. Just 1 month. I just want 1 month check during the season check, though, not the off-season check. I want the in-season check. That's all I need.
Preferably the one after playoffs where the bonuses come in.
That would be nice, too. But, I wonder how much bonus is tied to playoffs and progress.
I'm sure a lot. Because technically their contracts only pay for them to play during the regular season.
Right.
I actually looked that up one day because I was curious. I was like, well, if you're playing in the playoffs, you're like doing free work. I'm like, but then it was like there was all this structure built into it and yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, it got all too technical for me. And then I just saw adding sheets and I was like, my CPA can handle this. I'm out. I'm gone.
So, Domi looked pretty good in the playoffs in the little bit I got to see. Unfortunately, I don't get to see all the playoffs because I'm usually out skating. But reality, I saw Domi, and the Hawks had Domi. I thought Domi was a pretty good contributor in Chicago. They didn't keep him. I don't know if there was a problem, in the locker room or whatever the case may be. You just don't know. But I liked him as a Blackhawk. I thought he added a little toughness, and he seemed.
I thought he definitely contributed, especially with his assist and his play. But
yeah,
I thought there were a lot of times he'd start a fight that had no reason to be started, and half the time the other guy would be like, "What's this guy doing?" Like he didn't even want to fight him. Like so that kind of was like a turnoff for me because then he'd get like a 2-minute unsportsmanlike penalty, and nothing would happen to the other guy. And I'm like, well, now we're killing another penalty. That was stupid.
Well, maybe now with Bedard being here, we should have somebody like that just does go a little psycho to keep people in line. You got to have 2 nut jobs on your team to be a team. I mean, I always wanted 2 in my men's league team. I need 2 psychos on my men's league team to complete my roster.
So who's the other guy after you?
Here, let's see if I get. That's the wrong one. Sorry. That's the wrong one.
That worked out pretty good.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway.
Yeah. Well, anyway, Dallas has defeated Gary Bettman. Gary's team is out.
You love to say that, don't you?
I do. Gary's team has been defeated in the first round. Look,
Seattle. What's wrong with Seattle then?
Well, I think the Golden Knights are Gary's team. Let's not kid ourselves.
Okay.
I like the Golden Knights. They've had a tremendous run, and they still got to the playoffs again this year, and they still got to a Game 7. So, from that perspective, if they have a lot of hockey in Vegas, they're going to have a lot more hockey with a lot of kids playing hockey. In our case in Chicago, we have a lot of hockey, but we need to start seeing some playoff victories for hockey to thrive here. Because otherwise those young kids will not be coming in, okay? So
how about some more regular season victories? Let's start out there, okay?
Well, that would be nice, too. We have to make the playoffs, though. I mean, I thought we needed to compete this year, at least for a playoff spot, not to be the worst team in the league.
Well, you know what? We're trying it twice because the White Sox are the worst team in baseball by far right now. So Chicago's having a rough year.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. No doubt. I mean, we're hurting. I hope they get serious now. I mean, there's going to be some players available. I mean, if Toronto's willing to break up their 4 or 5 guys, I think we should be looking at being in the hunt for one of those players or 2 of those players. I mean, I had a lot of the Toronto players on my fantasy team, and they carried me pretty far during the season, and then a bit of a drop-off at the end, but kind of like their playoff season one, I guess.
I was going to say, it's a good thing there's no fantasy during playoffs.
Yeah.
Because you'd have a rough time.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't know, man. That's just tough. A lot of good hockey. Who do we have tonight? We got what? Boston?
New York and New York and Carolina played yesterday. New York won. Boston and Florida.
Boston and Florida.
So that should. I would think that'd be a good game tonight.
Yeah, but I think Boston will win that series. That's why I felt if Toronto had won that series, I think they could go a little ways. What do you think? Who do you like?
I don't know. Florida looks really good playing. Their goaltender is on this unbelievable hot streak.
Yeah.
It's
always nice to ride one of those, right?
Hot goalie does a lot in hockey. So
Yes,
let's see
it
if
does.
somebody runs him. See, I'm the coach's brain.
The management is thinking already, huh?
Yeah, run that guy.
You're waiting for that game report to come in, huh?
Man, we'll take care of this problem real quick. All right.
Yeah.
Who's a healthy scratch normally? You come up for the first shift.
Yeah.
Now, I just need you to come from the blue line once we get in there and just run the goalie over.
Yep. We're going to let you play tonight. One shift. You get one shift early.
I'm a horrible person. I'm not going to lie. Because that's immediately, I'm like, no. If we run the goalie, we might have a chance here.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I don't think it'll come to that, though. But
who knows? Let's hope not. But anyway, should be in for some good hockey. Rangers look good. Rangers are looking real solid.
Rangers look really good.
Yeah, they're bringing it. And Canada has some representation. They haven't had a lot of representation over the years. They got representation this year.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, the only problem is, unfortunately, they're facing off against each other. So that's kind of cruddy. So hopefully,
Yep.
Hopefully they figure that series out fast. So whoever's on the end of that can play somebody else and hopefully keep them in there.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk about the big elephant in the room that came out this week.
Go ahead.
And that is, for all of us referees, there's no testing this year. No questions, no open book, no closed book, no nothing other than a seminar.
No modules?
No modules. Nothing but a seminar. So are we gonna have you creating like modules for the seminar so somebody can get a little bit of educated training here, or what are we going to be doing? Because I don't know about this. I mean, I know USA Hockey is going to finally update their infrastructure. And that means, they're taking everything offline this year. So it's not a free year. You're still going to pay your $150 or whatever it is. But the reality of it is there's nothing to do. So if you paid to be a tenured referee, you thought you'd have a reduced workload. Well, now you don't even have to do that. All you got to do is send in a check and you're a referee. So all you parents in the stands out there that think you are the armchair quarterbacks from up there, it's wide open for you. You can come on down. But I don't know how this is going to play out. I mean, I think they need to have something. I don't care if it's a 50-question test just to open up the book and get people to do a little studying, do a little bit of looking around, especially for the newer officials. They need some training. They need some help. That's going to be tough. What's your thoughts? You're the referee in chief. You're going to end up dealing with all these reports. Like, Junior doesn't know that that's an icing.
Well, I think the one thing is unfortunately, because they are revamping the infrastructure, something's got to give, right? Either we keep doing it the same way, or they've recognized that there's an issue and they're redoing it. If that's 1 year of officials that don't get what some would consider the proper training, guess what? The locals will step in, and we're going to offer some stuff locally, especially here in Illinois. We actually have our planning meeting again tomorrow after all this was sent out in order to figure out what we're going to go about it. But, you know, the one thing I think a lot of people don't realize is if you roll all the way to the bottom of all that on USA Hockey, it says at the bottom, next year's registration will be changing and have added requirements. Yeah. So, you know, it might be 1 year if you're somebody that's, let's say, you haven't refereed in the past 10 or 15 years and you want to get back into it, but you don't want to go to an ice session and you don't want to take a test because you don't want to because you refereed for 10 years before it. Might be a good year for you to come back. Yeah. You know, you use it as hopefully a positive for the people that don't want to go through a long seminar for their level ones. That hopefully are people that used to referee that, you know, maybe you'll come back. You know, I think that would be the only positive on it. But I think, you know, an open book test is only going so far anyways, too, is you're opening the book. You hope they retain it. But a lot of people don't retain a lot of things they read anyways. So I don't know. I don't have an opinion on it. I just know something had to give.
Just my opinion on this. I think every year it gets us in the mode of talking about rules and situations. You know, that first month or 6 weeks that we all come together and get back into the season, or even before, once the seminars start and the modules go online and you get your questions, guys start talking about some of these things, and there's a lot of conversation in the referee rooms with regard to some of this stuff, and like, you know, what is the situation? I can't figure this out. Where did you find this? Because it got people thinking, and it refreshed memories, which is good. And I think maybe, and we haven't even talked about this, but I'm going to throw out a suggestion, and that is maybe this year we need our local association to come out with a monthly set of videos and some questions. Maybe it's 10 questions, something of that nature. Yeah, I'm making work for you. But I mean, just something
no, perfectly.
To stir it up a little bit. And we've talked about this over the years because, you know, at the higher levels, they send out videos like weekly, some clips that they look at, like the penalties and things that were called. Maybe we should have something like that locally just to at least show the standards. Because for the new guys coming in, they're not even going to know what a standard is because they're not even looking at a video clip. So I think there needs to be something, you know, like this is a check.
They're still going to have the built-in modules, just like they have in the level ones for the past, I don't know, 7 or 8 years, to where the videos are in there. That basically replaced whatever you did before. So that's still all going to be there. That's not changing. Now, I'll say this, and locally, you know, we have a committee that's being formed, so thank you, Scott, for volunteering to head that committee up. So we appreciate that. No, don't worry, I'll put your name in it. The president will have no problem.
Yeah, I'm sure you will. Okay. Yeah, thanks for volunteering me. Appreciate it.
Was that volunteering or voluntolding? I'm trying to figure that one out.
Yeah. Okay. But I think that might be, you know, something that we should look into as far as locally to help some of these guys, because you know when let's be honest, years ago when we had a lot of referees and we had a lot of people that had been around for a long period of time, 3s and 4s, you didn't often see a level 1 with a few games ending up on call it a higher level game. Okay. A tier 2 game. But now it's not uncommon to end up on a tier 2 game your first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games, if you could skate, you know. So I think those people need some education. They need some training. I mean, you know, the refs will always help them while they're out there. That's why we have experienced officials that usually end up out there with them. But, you know, you still don't want to put them in that position where they can't succeed quickly. So I think we got to have something. I don't know. Anybody that's watching, let's get your thoughts and comments. I mean, are you excited about not having to do anything this year, that it's kind of like a freebie for you? I mean, just one of those things. I mean,
Well, I'm excited because I am on the Safe Sport Refresher year instead of the full course.
I get the
So,
full course this year, so
yeah,
I had the
because I
refresher
was,
last year.
yeah, I have the refresher. So I'm not
Yeah,
downplaying that.
I
I'm
think
just
I
saying
think I got to get my screening again. This is my. It's every other year we got to get screened.
it's every
Yeah,
other
so
year, and honestly, I can't remember if I did mine last year or not. I'll have
I
to
think
look at my
I got to get the
registration.
screening again, and I think I got to get my full safe sport, which is 4
Which
hours of my life I'll never get back.
which I'll put out there as a reminder to everybody in USA Hockey because our registrar let us know the emails have started going out for Safe Sport. If you do see that email come into your email box and it's not your year to take the full one, if you let it lapse, you have to take the full course. So you need to complete it before it ends up out. Okay, so just everybody know that.
Yes.
Don't let it
No,
lapse.
Don't let it
Do
lapse.
it.
Don't
Do
let
it.
it lapse.
It's well worth your time to make sure and do it.
Absolutely.
Don't let it lapse.
Yeah, I had that full course the year before. It was long.
Yeah,
Very
it's
long. Very long. Never ending. Very long. So, yeah, if you get the refresher, just be thankful. Do it. Do it quickly.
Also, it's not really, the refresher's not bad. I know the full one is long, but
Yeah.
we do it. You're over with it. You got to do it once a year. Do it on a Saturday while, you're sitting outside instead of
Yeah,
reading
instead
a
of
book.
playing golf, do that. Instead of being outside on a sunny 80-degree day, just stay inside for 4 hours and do that. Yes.
I take my computer outside if I'm doing stuff like that and it's nice out, man. I took an entire seminar once.
Take the
back in the
seminar
day
in the
outside.
golf course, in the golf cart on the course while you're waiting for your next shot.
You know what? I'm gonna say we had somebody during COVID, and it was a guy from, I think he was from California, and he was taking our level 4 seminar, and it was like a Saturday or something like that. And you would see him, and he's in his car, he's driving, he's even interacting with the seminar too, right? He's talking, and he's driving. Then you'd see him, and he'd stop, and he'd reach over to the one side, and then you'd see him pull out the red DoorDash bag, and he'd take his camera with him, and he'd walk up, and he'd ring the doorbell. He'd be like, "Oh yeah, have a good day," and he'd hand it off, and he'd go back, and he was delivering DoorDash during the whole seminar. So, but he was also unemployed from COVID, and he was trying to find a way, and refereeing was another way to supplement his income, and he knew he had to get his seminar done, so he was kind of
Good for
double
him.
dipping. I mean,
That's right.
I don't suggest driving and taking a seminar though. That seems a little dangerous to me, but
That's because you're in the
there.
insurance business.
no, I'm not.
You know so much about insurance. So, yeah, there you go. All right. Anyway, we got new rules, proposals that you're going to be, you actually have them and tried to send them to me. So, unfortunately, it is a humongous file. So, it hasn't come into my main computer, so I couldn't get the slides ready. So, we are going to cover that in 2 weeks. 2 weeks. And you're going to Hockey Congress. Is that right? When is that happening?
June 5th, 6th, 7th.
Okay. So,
hang on. I'm confusing myself now. Meetings start the 6th and 7th, and everything concludes Saturday the 8th, and that's when we fly back.
So, are you guys going to be voting on the rules during this session? Explain what goes on. You don't so explain the whole process. Let's do that because you're getting the rules that have possibly cleared to be looked at and voted on. Is that correct?
Yeah. So they're still so these are the ones that made it out of the subcommittee. So they're like it's all together, but these are the ones that they basically said we're going to at least look at, and we've said yes to that these should go. Then when they get in there, they talk about all of them, and then they may redraft some things. And I saw like the one year I told you when they put in the not enhanced enforcement, the checking part, the enhanced checking part. There were people, the first part of it, they're up walking around, running into each other, and they did all this word changing while we were there, and they handed out documents to everybody, and it was a USA Hockey document, but on the background of it, it said this is not an official document, so that somebody wouldn't be like, oh yeah, this got passed or whatever. So they do go through it. It does take them a lot, and it does take a lot to even get to this process. They did put in everything that was submitted is in the document that we get, and that we've seen. And it says approve, deny, and then, it has some other things. But these at least are going to make it to Congress, and they'll make it out to the floor, whether this way that they're written now or if they amend them while they're there. Could change. But they'll vote for that on Saturday before everybody goes home. And those are voted on by the affiliates. So each affiliate has so many votes by how many members they have.
How many affiliates do we have? How many votes does AHI have?
I honestly don't know how many votes. I honestly don't know. I can ask. I've never thought of asking. That's a great question.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's it could be where the affiliate then votes in and then the district makes a vote. I don't know. That's another thing that I honestly don't know, which you spurred my interest. I've never thought of asking. So I can find out more. Don't worry about that.
So this is the first time you guys have gone there and that you're doing it a year in advance. Typically, you would go there, you would get the vote in, and then that was the rule changes, and then they came out for that same year, like the next season. So this year, you guys are planning a year ahead. So these changes will not go in effect for another season. So not the 24-25 season. These will be for the 25-26 season.
So, right, but I don't know, honestly, because I'm not too clear on it, because they are going to be switching how the meetings work eventually along the course of this to where they'll be voting in the winter. So I don't know if they're voting early. Honestly, I do not know. I'll be the first one to tell you that, and I will not sit here and say that I know, because I don't know. Again, I can find out about that, though.
Well, we know that we're going to have a rule change next year, and that is to have the neck guards, which not the Calvin Klein underwear ban like we've had, but the laceration protection. So either it's going to be a full shirt with the cut-proof material, or it's going to be, like a mock turtleneck, something of that nature, whatever that they've decided on. But that is going to come into play for next season, and that will be required.
Yes.
Now, there was talk. We've told everybody and made everybody very happy that the delayed tag up offsides will be coming back and icing the puck on the penalty kill for ages 14U and above. But is that a done deal, or does it still have to be voted on? I thought that was already voted on and approved.
Still has to all be voted.
So it's still not approved. Even though we've heard it was, it's not a done deal yet.
Not till it's voted on by the membership.
And what are your thoughts on that, Brad, as the referee-in-chief?
I personally feel it should go back. I mean, that's just me. But I'm also a purist of the game. So, honestly, I don't particularly like the first in, first out penalty. I think the penalty that makes you shorthanded should be released. But that's very complex for a lot of officials to understand and the teams to understand. So I get why they made it more simple for our level of hockey. There's a lot of things that I don't particularly like the new checking standard. Now I call it because I need to, because that's what I said I'm going to do. That's my job. I don't really agree with it, but it doesn't matter what I agree with. It matters what the game requires, what I'm being asked and tasked to do, and that's what I'm going to go out and do every game to the best of my ability. That's all. That's what every referee has to do. That's unfortunately
all you can do.
We're not the ones making the rules. When coaches are upset about it, I'm like, I'm not the one that wrote it. I'm here enforcing it. If you don't like it, I don't know what to tell you. You better learn the rule and curb your players. I've never had a coach tell me anything back to when I've said that to them. Like,
well, they're not going to, Brad. You're the referee-in-chief. They're not going to say squat to you. They're not going to say squat to you. Be the 14-year-old that's trying to make that same call and see what the response is from the coach that's going to try to own him.
Yeah, but I did this stuff before I was referee-in-chief and had no problems. It's how you say things. It's about how you interject yourself and how you communicate throughout the game as well.
Well, that's a big part of it. Absolutely. Having rapport. You're probably working you have the benefit of working with coaches that you know them inside and out. You probably know them better than we all know them. And, that's a big advantage. And that is something that comes with, I'll call it tenure and time as being a referee, because you will see the same faces over and over again. And, how you handle situations, sometimes more just a conversation off the ice ends up making your life that much better when you're out there, because you do have some, you're a human being to them at that point, instead of somebody just to scream at.
Yeah, and I think a lot of referees are afraid to converse with somebody that wants to generally converse. Okay, there's they want to converse with you, but yet they're going to degrade you. But I'd say that's probably about 20% of the interactions off the ice. I'd say the other 80% they want to converse with you because they want to understand where you came from. And then, what's funny about it? Over the years, when you start talking to some coaches and whatever, and you hear it, and you're like, well, no, I don't agree with that. And then, you're younger like I was in my 20s. I'd go talk to somebody that had been around a long time, and they'd be like, well, I get your point. And they would curb my view over to the coach's view. And then the next time I would see that coach, I would say, hey, I sat down, I talked with some senior referees on this. This is what we came up with. I hope that this will change, in the future. Everybody's able to deal with that. But again, there are positive interactions and there are negative interactions. And we shouldn't try to, subject ourselves to negative ones. But if there's a positive one, you can put yourself out there.
Well, I think, the thing is, we didn't get into refereeing just because, let's become a referee and piss people off. We did it because we're hockey people. We love the game of hockey. This is a continuation of hockey. It's kind of a give back in a way to the game that we love. And, it puts us right in the heart of the sport. And they need people to do this. This is not something that's easy to just, hey, I'm going to become a hockey referee. I have no clue. Let me go do this. I'm being a good guy here. No, you got to understand hockey a little bit. And, the more you're around it, the more you're going to understand it and see it from both sides. And, the coaches, they're in it because they're hockey people too. They're passionate. That's why it's great when you do get a chance to have conversations with some of these guys off the ice, because, man, you'd be surprised. A lot of them have, similar, things that they love about the game or don't like about the game or want to see changed in the game. And, whether that be the delayed offsides going back.
I hope I do, just because I unfortunately I like that rule. I get why they changed it when they wanted the defense to handle the puck. I also understand why they changed for the icing, that you can't ice the puck because they want the players to handle the puck. The idea is to give the players more time touching the puck because therefore you build greater skills. Doesn't matter if it's a skill stick handling, doesn't matter if it's a skill thinking, doesn't matter if it's a skill passing. But that's why the small area games and all the small area drills that you do see pretty much everywhere now have become the norm, is because the players touch the puck more, so they learn more.
Yeah.
And that's the idea by it. And, whether we like it or not, sometimes we have to try something. Nobody likes it, and then we go back. It can be changed. It's, one of those things.
Well, look, I'm not going to disagree that I think by not having the delayed offsides that we've seen the squirts and peewees at the AAA level learn to really, protect the puck. I mean, most coaches, I've actually, this is a true story. AAA, I don't know if it was a showcase, I guess. You get the best players around. They get put on a team. They don't know who the coach is. The coach really doesn't know the players. He might know a couple of players on the bench. He doesn't even know their names. He's just going to put them out there. They kind of run their own thing. He's there. And the one thing he goes, all I'm asking you to do is don't give up the puck. That's my only rule. Mm-hmm. You cannot give up the puck. That's the only thing he said to those kids. That was the one thing I was standing right there. That's all I'm going to tell you. You don't give up the puck no matter what. And that's what he wanted from him. And that's basically what the no tag up offside is. You don't throw the puck away. You don't throw the puck down the ice. So you control the puck. And you see that. Squirt AAA, Bantam AAA, Pee Wee AAA, whatever. Tier 2. Where you don't see that, and this rule never made any sense, is, house league or whatever you want to call it.
Tier 3 hockey.
Yeah. They're not, it's not the skilled sport. It's fun for them. They're having a good time. Let them ice the puck. They watch the game on TV. That's what they know. Offsides.
I never thought about it that way, Scott, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I never thought about it that way. That's actually
they don't get the deep coaching. They don't have the skills time to put into it. They're out there to have fun, to be with their friends. They love the game of hockey. They want to beat up on each other a little bit. It's kind of fun. We're going to check. We're going to hit. It's, we're going to get a couple goals. We can't really skate. We're all good. It doesn't matter. We're just having fun. We love the game. Don't punish us and make us make these dramatic plays that we can't make and be out there for 2 hours because we need a whistle every 10 seconds and there's no flow to the game whatsoever. So
I never saw it from that perspective, Scott.
So take that back to USA Hockey for us. So when they go to that vote, to make sure they understand which way they should be voting this time. I mean, if you came back and said, okay, tier 1 is going to stay with, they can't ice the puck and they have no tag up on the offsides, I'd be like, okay, I got no problem with that. They adjust. They could play fine to it. It's not a lot. Where you get an occasional whistle you don't need is when the puck goes across the ice, it bounces off the boards, and it just comes over the line, and everybody was out already, and it's a stupid, why are we stopping play? Like, everybody even looks at it like, seriously, you're going to stop play for that? Yep, it's offside.
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Let them know. We don't like it either. It's ridiculous.
The worst is where it comes out in a tier 1 game, like a half an inch, goes off, the guy flies up in the air, everybody's exiting, and then there's the one guy still in there, and it goes to the D guy. He's going to march it out of the zone anyways. He's got nobody in front of him for 20 feet. Beep! And it's like, sorry, not much I can do on that one. So, but I hear you.
That's the one. And unfortunately, it's almost like miter squirt hockey at a lower level. You want to say, oh, well, the blue line is not this wide, it's this wide. And you give them a little leeway if they're doing the right thing or trying to make the right play and they just can't quite execute it to the, the microsecond of perfection that they need to yet. But, you can't have your cake and eat it too. Either it's onside or it's offside. And it's like, because at some point it's going to become a problem. So you just got to go by the letter of the law. But anyway, that's my point. I hope that they definitely make that change. We got a few comments. Let me pull up some comments. This comes from Shaney308. Don't know if it'll make much difference. Well,
he's talking about the rules.
Yeah, this is for the rules change. Yeah, or for not having to do the testing. I still think people do open up the book. They look at some of the rule. They read the questions. They, even if they just fill it out and then go back and check their answers, I think it at least spurs some conversation. So, this year, if I got the long safe sport, I'd be grateful not to have all the modules and everything to go with it. So, I'm getting a free pass on that one a little bit. So I guess I won't complain too hard. But I think for the newer officials, the beginning, the level 1s and 2s definitely need to have some help and training. Karen says, you're hard to argue with. You listen to the coaches, you explain fully, and you're polite the whole time. She's talking about me because that's not me. That's not me, Karen. Maybe that's Brad. That's Brad, I'm sure.
I try to be as nice as possible.
Yeah. And Justin says, is it true that Open Book is removed for new level 1s next season? Justin, the answer is true.
Rewind. Oh, I would have said rewind to the beginning and watch it again.
There you go. That would work too. What's your thoughts on that, Justin? Do you think the level 1 should have a pass, or do you think they should at least have, 25 or 50 questions in the book that, even if nobody even graded it, just didn't tell them they weren't going to grade it, just you have to do the 50 questions and send them in. We'll let you know how you did, just to shake it up a little bit.
That would make it worse.
Made a great point. Many of the rules are put in to regulate the upper levels of hockey. Kids should have fun like pond hockey. Enjoy the game. Well, Shaney, I appreciate that, and I think that's sometimes where we lose focus. We are so interested in getting to the next level, getting everybody to the NHL, getting everybody to the D1, or pro leagues, D1 college, or wherever you want to go. But we have forgotten that, a lot of people just love the game and want to play. And that's your guys that are playing house, Northwest House. And I'm going to throw this one out there. I think we talked about this a little bit before. I don't know if we did this on the show or not, but somebody's missing the boat, because right now, this time of year, there's no place for the players that are going to graduate from high school to go play.
Oh, yeah, we talked about this.
Yeah. And a lot of the tier 2 players have nowhere to go. I don't even know if all the Nihil players have a place to go.
Oh, they're tier 2.
Tier 2. So, I mean, they need a league for these players that have nowhere to go for the spring session.
ACHA, Scott. Starts
the ACHA
in October.
Yeah, but there's nowhere right now for them to go. That's what I mean. A spring league for those players to go play, like when spring hockey in high school starts up. So I'm talking like April, May, June, and maybe July. April, May, June, July. At least April, May, and June. They should have
I think they should concentrate on playing lacrosse or something else. Get out of the hockey rink for a while.
Well, they can do that too. I don't think they're going to be playing 6 days a week. But yeah, I just feel
I'm just saying. I think
I had this conversation with one of the coaches. I ran into a coach. I was eating my fast food dinner on the way to a game, and ran into one of the coaches at one of the favorite stops for everybody, and we talked about this.
Well, I can tell you, once you're committed to like an ACHA team or something, they have practices once the season gets closer. They're good to go when it goes. I mean, they can take some time off, especially when you're transitioning from senior year of high school to college. Think about this. There's a lot of things that are about to change in your life, and hockey's not going to be the biggest one of them. Trust me on that, because we'll see if you can get up and go to class every day.
Hopefully level ones do more jamborees than before, getting their feet wet with more serious games.
Yeah, I hope there were more jamborees. I get it. I mean, but there's just unfortunately not that opportunity right now. I know what he's talking about.
What is a jamboree? What is the jamboree?
Well, jamboree is like a showcase. So like,
you
just take. It's almost like organized rad hockey.
Okay.
They take all the names, they throw them into a thing, they generate it out, they put them onto a team, and then the referees come in and ref it.
All right. So do we have ice time for our officials next year for ADP?
ADP, yeah, we will for ADP, for sure. So we're talking multiple things here with what's going on with the seminar. So we just haven't gotten that far. Yeah. Okay. So we were waiting for the materials. So we're still waiting on those to be officially released to us, but at least we have what the requirements are.
All right. So Brad said he'd give us a half hour today because it's nice outside. See,
45
minutes. If it's raining, we get a full hour. But if it's nice outside, we're getting a half. But I did get 45 minutes out of you, so that's good anyway. All right. Well, we're going to wrap it up. We'll see you back here in 2 weeks, and we will come back and we will talk about some of those new rules proposals. Wait, I think we got one more comment from Karen that just came in. The level 1 needs some form of information and performing. Having a ref say, no, I only sent in my money and I got my patch. You mean crest. Yeah, patch.
There you go. We're getting you. I'm getting you into the new terms.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Karen, listen, I don't disagree. And I'm not a legal expert here or anything like that, but I hope there's no repercussions because of not having any kind of training. If you're just going to pay your money and you're a referee, like, wow. So I guess that's going to be up to Brad to make sure everybody is up to the task. And
who?
Yeah, you. Ricky, referee in chief. Ricky. Yeah, you're going to have to, come up with something. I mean, and I don't doubt you guys will. I think you will because I know we are here in Illinois, and I think we do a great job always, and usually we get copied from on a lot of things. So I think we'll probably be reinventing the wheel here somehow, some way, to make sure everybody knows what they're supposed to do when they hit the ice so that we don't have problems. And, I don't know how that's going to play out around the rest of the country. It'll be interesting. Are we still in a crisis numbers-wise for referees? I don't think we are in Illinois, but what about around the country?
I mean...
Do you know, are they struggling in other markets?
So, like, number-wise, no. It looks great on paper, but I can't have... We got 1,600, 800. I'd say 850, 900 of the referees can't referee anything above a peewee minor game. That's kind of a crisis. And then you probably have... There's on the other end of the age spectrum, probably 50% of those guys, which is 40% of our other side of the spectrum, can't referee anything above a Bantam major game. So we have all those high schools and all that stuff in the middle that there's about maybe 20% of officials that can do it. So I think it sounds like a pretty big crisis to me still. When the most official spots are coming from that middle section there. So, we're having a problem with where, like guys in their 20s and gals, they get married, they have kids. They get new lucrative job opportunities where they don't have to sit in an ice hockey rink on Saturday and Sunday. Also, games are all 2.5 hours now at those levels. And people used to say, hey, back in the day, when I started refereeing high school games, they were all 14-minute periods.
Yep.
14 minutes, and most of them did not have an ice cut.
Well, it's
get
going further out of control.
Half.
I mean,
You get them done in an hour and a half, and it wouldn't be so bad working 3 of them in a row. It's 4.5 hours. If you want to work 3 high school games in a row now, it's like an 8-hour shift.
Yeah.
It's a lot. Yeah. And a lot of people don't want to, on Saturday I went golfing. You were reffing. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry to set you on that course. So, that's just one thing. Like, people
it's my choice. Realized. I mean, to me, this is still our season. I look at our season ends at the end of May. That's how I look at our season, because we have our spring league. For a lot of guys, they don't work spring league because there's a break, from mid-March up until like the second week of April where it doesn't get busy again. And then we have April and a May. You have about 6-7 weeks roughly of the season 6-7, continues. Yeah. And I still feel like that's part of our season. It's an extension of it. So, I do what I can to work games. And I'm going to tell you, I'm not 20 years old. I need to skate. The last thing you want me to do is take 2 or 3 weeks off, come back, work a couple games, take another 2 or 3 weeks off, come back, work. No, I need to be skating 3 or 4 days a week. I need that, because I don't feel good if I'm not skating. I don't feel good. And if I take a week off, what's that?
Why don't you rollerblade with the dog?
I'm with the dog all the time. She's sitting right here. Like, she's already had me out 4 times today.
See, that was 4 times that you could have been skating. See?
No, I'm just saying, that you guys need to be aware. Schedulers need to be aware. Your I'll call them your senior referees, your aging referees need to skate a little bit more often. You need to find games for those guys because they need to be on the ice. Because things just don't feel good if you're not out there. The more you're doing and everything, it's like everything's fine. It's just natural part of life. But if you're not, it's different. So you got to keep those guys going. Anyway, that's my Geritol moment for the referees.
If we could make some money off something like that, I mean,
yeah.
What's the what's Depends? You think we can get Depends to sponsor the show?
Yeah.
What's the stool one?
Man, my monitor just went out now that you've started this kind of a conversation.
Well, then we'll end it.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there, but yeah, the one monitor literally just failed. Okay, so yeah, okay, Brad.
I'm glad I broke your computer.
Yeah, I may not even be able to shut the show off now because it's the one that's got the end button on it. So I may have to just.
Well, don't worry, I'll be gone.
Yeah, I know
Won't
you.
Bother me. You'll be the guy sitting there by yourself. Won't matter to me.
Right,
I'll call you then and be like, "You off the show?" No, I'm still trying to figure it out.
Yeah,
hang on. Pull the plug on your computer.
I wonder if did the dog hit something? Because she was over here, so.
I have no idea.
Like
now the other one's blinking green. I don't know what you got going on.
We're back on now. We're okay. All right, we got it. I don't know what happened there, but anyway. All right. Well, anyway, you guys all have a great week and finish out the season. We've got how many? Is that peace or is that 2 more weeks?
2
weeks.
Which is it? Have a great 2 weeks.
That's peace and have a great 2 weeks. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Yes. And that's about what we have left with the season, right? About 2 weeks? Or do we have 3?
I don't know. You're making my head hurt.
Wait. Just wait. All right. All right. Love you guys. Peace out, everybody from Chicago.
You just told everybody you loved them now.
And Brad Baumruck.
Have a good couple weeks.
Have fun at Hockey Congress. I'll talk to you. Bye.